The house gets louder at night. You would think silence is quiet, but it isn't. Not when you are 102 years old and the only breathing you hear is your own. The wood in these walls stretches and sighs. The pipes hum softly like they are remembering something. The clock above my stove ticks with a stubborn rhythm, as if it still believes there is somewhere important to be. I sit in my rocking chair by the window in Virginia, wrapped in the same knitted shawl I've worn for 20 winters, and I listen. I have outlived my parents. I have outlived my husband. I have outlived my siblings, my friends, even one of my children. When you reach 102, people stop asking you about the future. They look at you like you are a library that survived a fire. They want to know what it was like back then. But no one ever asks what it feels like now. It feels like standing on a shoreline after everyone else has gone home. There was a time when this house was full. My husband's boots used to sit by the door, always covered in Virginia mud. He would walk in smelling like cedar and cold air, his laugh filling every room before he even took off his coat. I would pretend to be annoyed at the dirt he tracked in. I was never annoyed. I was in love. We were married for 61 years. 61. That number still stuns me. People today call that a miracle. It wasn't a miracle. It was work. It was forgiveness. It was learning when to speak and when to sit quietly and hold someone's hand instead of winning an argument. The day he passed, the house changed its sound. It was as if the walls realized he wasn't coming back. I remember standing in the kitchen, staring at his empty chair. I thought grief would feel like screaming. It didn't. It felt like falling through ice into freezing water, sudden, sharp, breathless, and then, strangely, calm. At 102, I have learned something about pain that most people discover too late. Pain does not destroy you. Fighting it does. For years after he died, I tried to outrun loneliness. I kept the television on all day just to hear voices. I filled my calendar with church meetings, grocery trips, anything to avoid sitting in stillness. But loneliness is patient. It waits. One evening, the power went out during a storm. No lights, no television, just me and the wind pushing against these old wooden walls. I lit a candle and sat in my rocking chair, and for the first time, I didn't try to distract myself. I let the loneliness sit beside me, and something unexpected happened. It softened. Loneliness is not the enemy. It is love with nowhere to go. When you understand that, you stop being afraid of it. I talk to him sometimes. Not in a way that would worry you. I just speak out loud while I wash dishes. I tell him about the neighbor's new dog or how the tomatoes did poorly this summer. I tell him I miss him. And instead of breaking me, it warms me. Because to miss someone so deeply means you were blessed enough to love deeply. That is a privilege. I have watched the world change in ways that would have frightened the young woman I once was. I was born before color television, before computers, before people carried tiny glowing screens in their pockets. I have seen wars, recessions, movements, miracles. And here is what surprises me the most. Human hearts have not changed at all. We still want to be seen. We still want to be chosen. We still want to matter. When I was younger, I thought success would protect me from regret. I believed if I made the right decisions, planned carefully, and worked hard, I could avoid sorrow. I was wrong. Regret is not about failure. It is about hesitation. I do not regret the risks I took. I regret the words I swallowed, the apologies I delayed, the hugs I assumed I could give tomorrow. Tomorrow is a fragile promise. At 102, I can tell you something with absolute certainty. There will always be more laundry, more dishes, more emails, more errands. There will not always be more time. One of my greatest regrets is a small moment. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud. My daughter called one afternoon while I was busy cleaning. I remember glancing at the clock and thinking, I'll call her back later. Later became never. An accident, a hospital, a goodbye I wasn't prepared for. For years, I replayed that decision in my mind. If I had just picked up the phone. But grief taught me another lesson. You cannot punish yourself into peace. I had to forgive the woman I was. Busy, distracted, unaware of what was coming. She did not know she was choosing a last chance. None of us ever know. So now, when the phone rings, I answer. When someone says, "Can I stop by?" I say yes, even if the house is messy. Perfection is a thief. It steals moments in exchange for appearances. People sometimes ask me, "Clara, what is the secret to living this long?" I tell them the truth. I stopped trying to control everything. Control is an illusion that exhausts you. I used to worry about money constantly, about whether the roof would leak, about whether my children would make good choices, about what neighbors thought of me. At 102, I can tell you this: most of what you worry about never happens, and the things that do happen, you survive them. You are stronger than you think. I have buried people I believed I could not live without. Yet here I am, sitting in this wooden house, rocking gently as the sun sets. Strength does not roar. It endures. There were years when I was angry at aging. I resented my slower steps, my wrinkled hands, the way strangers speak louder to me as if volume can erase time. I used to look in the mirror and search for the girl I remembered. She is gone. But I am still here, and that is enough. Aging is not theft. It is transformation. Every line on my face is evidence that I survived something. Every ache in my bones is proof that I kept moving. Youth is loud, age is quiet. And in that quiet, you hear the truth. Here is the truth I wish I had known at 40. No one is thinking about you as much as you think they are. We waste years worried about judgment, about whether we said the wrong thing, wore the wrong outfit, chose the wrong path. Meanwhile, everyone else is busy worrying about themselves. Live boldly. Most critics are imaginary. Another truth: love people while they are difficult. It is easy to love someone when they are kind, healthy, agreeable. The real test is loving them when they are stubborn, grieving, afraid. My husband and I had years that were not pretty. Years of tension, misunderstanding, pride. But we stayed. And because we stayed, we experienced a depth of companionship that young couples today sometimes give up on too soon. Not every relationship should be endured, but some should be fought for. Know the difference. Living alone at 102 has taught me independence, yes, but it has also taught me tenderness toward myself. I move slowly. I drop things. I forget names. Instead of scolding myself, I laugh. If you are fortunate enough to grow old, your body will change before your spirit does. Be patient with it. It has carried you through storms. Some mornings, I sit on my porch with a cup of weak coffee and watch the sun rise over the Virginia trees. The light spills gently across the yard, touching everything without discrimination. The weeds, the flowers, the cracked fence. The sun does not choose what is worthy. It simply shines. I try to live like that now, freely, without withholding warmth. If I could place my hands on your shoulders right now and tell you one thing, it would be this. Do not wait for a tragedy to rearrange your priorities. Call the person, take the trip, apologize first, sit in silence without fear, and when loss comes, because it will, let it carve you deeper instead of making you bitter. Bitterness is heavy. At my age, I carry only what I must. I have outlived everyone I thought I couldn't live without, and what that taught me is not despair. It taught me gratitude. Every morning I wake up is not something I earned. It is something I receive. The house still creaks at night. The clock still ticks. The rocking chair still moves under my weight. And I am still here, not untouched by sorrow, but not defeated by it either. If you are younger than me, and you are, understand this. One day, if you are lucky, you will sit where I sit now. You will look back at your life and see patterns you cannot see yet. Make them beautiful, not perfect, beautiful. Fill your days with conversations that matter more than appearances, with risks that make your heart race, with forgiveness given quickly, because in the end, you will not measure your life in achievements. You will measure it in love. I am 102 years old. I live alone in a wooden house in Virginia. I have known great joy and unbearable loss. And if I could live it all again, I would still choose love. Every single time.